Hello everybody, we're going back to chapter 7. We're going to finish it and we're going to do a lot with polynomials. So in this lesson, you'll be able to classify polynomials and write them in standard form. Well, before we talk about polynomials, we have to talk about what is a monomial. A monomial, mono meaning one, is a number and a variable or the product of a number and a variable that with a whole number exponents. So Here's what we mean. So this is a monomial. It's just a number. This is a monomial because it's a product of a number and variables. You could also, if you want, x, that's a monomial, and x times y is a monomial. And you can have exponents as long as they're whole numbers. So what is the degree of each monomial? Here's how you find the degree. You look at just the variables, and you add up their exponents. So 4 plus 3, this would be a 7th degree monomial. Here, I have invisible 1 and invisible 1. Notice I don't look at the 7, I just look at these two. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So that's a 2nd degree. Here, I don't have any exponents. Now, if I did, they would have an exponent of 0. So this is called 0 degree. So this would be a 0 degree. All right, we talked about a monomial. Well, a polynomial, it's a monomial or it's several monomials, or we say the sum or difference of them. So here, these are two monomials, so this is a polynomial. But remember, if I just had like 2x, that's a monomial, but monomials are polynomials. So polynomial is the whole topic of all of these. What is the degree of each polynomial? Here's how you find it. What you have to do is find the degree of each monomial first. So what's the degree here? Remember, we only look at the variable's exponent. That's degree 7. What's the degree here? It's 3. This is degree 3. Take the highest one. The highest one is 7, so we say 7th degree. It's a 7th degree polynomial. Next, we look here. Don't look at this. Look here. So this is 2, but there's another variable, so we can count that. So that adds up to 3. Here we have a 4, no other variables, so this is a 4. There's no variable here, so that would be 0. So what's my biggest one? 4. We would say 4th degree. It's a 4th degree polynomial. So we talked about the degrees. We can also identify polynomials by the number of terms they have. So fill this in with me. If there's only one term, we already learned that. That's called a monomial. If there are 2 terms, think of a bicycle, 2 wheels, this is going to be a binomial. There are 2 of them. If there are 3 terms, it would be a like tricycle, trinomial. Now, once we have more than 3, when we have 4, 5, or 6, watch what I do. We just say how many terms there are. So we say 4-term polynomial. That's all we do. All right, you're going to be asked to take the polynomials and write them in standard form. This means that we write the terms in order from greatest degree to least, starting left, going right. The leading coefficient is the coefficient of the first term after we write it in standard form. I'll talk about this later. Write each polynomial in standard form, then give the leading coefficient. So I have to take these and put them in order based on their degree. Well, this monomial is a 1st degree because its exponent is 1 on the variable. The exponent here is 5. This is 5th. This is 2. And this, remember, if a number is by itself, it's called a constant, and there's an invisible exponent, or variable, with an exponent 0. So we could say x to the 0. So that's a 0 degree. That will go last. I need the greatest on the left, so I'm going to do this one first. So I wrote this first, and I remembered that the negative belongs to the 7. Then I wrote this second, and then I wrote this next, and last was my plain number. So now notice 5, 2, 1, 0. That standard form. What's my leading coefficient? My leading coefficient is the number in front of my first term. So it's -7 is my leading coefficient. Here's some practice. We're going to write each polynomial in standard form and then give the leading coefficient. Alright, so this is a 2, this is a 6, and this is a 1. Let's put them in order. Biggest to smallest. Alright, my first one is the y6, then I went with y2, and then lastly -3y1. My leading coefficient will be the number in front of my first term. There's an invisible 1 here, so 1 is my leading coefficient. Let's try this one. This is a first degree, this would be a 0 degree, and this would be a second degree. Let's put them in order. I put them in order with the biggest exponent on the variable going down to no variable at all. And now my leading coefficient. It's the number in front of this, and it's invisible again, so it's 1 again. 1 is my leading coefficient. One more time. Let's put these in order. Alright, this is a fourth degree. This will go first, then this, then this, then this. Let's rewrite these with the commutative property. Okay, I have them in order now. Biggest to no variable at all. And what's my leading coefficient? This time I actually have a number. It looks like it's 5, and that's my leading coefficient. Alright, we have a word problem involving a firework, and if you look close, the answer's already here. So you still want to pay attention so you know how to do this on the assignment or on a test. A firework is launched from a platform 6 feet above the ground. Here's a little diagram. Here's the ground, 6 feet above the ground. Here's the platform. Here's the firework. And the speed is 200 feet per second. The firework has a 5-second fuse. This fuse is 5 seconds. The height of the firework is, in feet, is given by this polynomial. Okay? Well, something very important here, it's in feet. Okay, so we check they're all in feet. That's good. Here's our polynomial where t is time in seconds. How high will the firework be when it explodes? So basically, what we're going to do is take this polynomial, it's a trinomial, and we're going to take the 5, and we're going to put the 5 right here and see what we get. So I took the 5 and I put it here and I put it here. Now, basically all I have to do is use a calculator. So I'm going to square this, and if you look at our work down here, I get 25. Then I multiply that to 16, and I get -400. Here I go 5 times 200 is 1,000. So I add these together and I end up with 600. And lastly I add 6. So the answer we got was 606 feet. What that means is this rocket will shoot, and when it gets up to 606 feet, then it will blow up. Then the rocket will blow up. Here are your practice problems. You have 4 of them. First thing, write them in standard form. So put these in standard form. Then I want to know what degree your polynomial is. So that means what's your biggest exponent on your variable. Okay? And lastly, tell me how many terms it is. Okay, the number of terms, like trinomial, binomial, and so on. Okay? Bring any questions you have to class next time we meet. Take care.